Well, Cameron, that was a breathless game to watch. What was it like to play in?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it was an open game from obviously the first minute. But, I thought it was an entertaining game for both sets of fans. And, I probably thought, a draw was, an overall reflection of the game.
Yeah, we'll start with the incidents in order. What did you make of the opening 30 seconds, but finding yourselves 1-0 down so early?
Yeah, it's just sloppy. We've been caught cold, and it was a nice move from them. But from our point of view, it's rubbish defending. But I thought we responded in the right way, and we got up and got in their face, and we managed to put them under a little bit of pressure and put them on the back foot, and we got our goals from that. Yeah,
a real change about Norwich City in recent weeks. There are times when you've gone behind and not come back, but today 1-0 down in the first minute, and you were winning, but by the 20th minute.
Yeah, that's football for you. Like you said, obviously in the last couple of weeks we seem to have found that little bit more belief and a little bit more confidence, and we've got that that bit between our teeth where we don't know when we're beaten, and even towards the end there, I think we stood up strong, and it was sustained pressure from probably about the 60th minute, where Newcastle was leaving more bodies forward. It was gambling a little bit more, and it was obviously putting all the attacking players on the pitch and trying to get that equaliser, and obviously we couldn't keep them out till the end, but nevertheless I think a draw is probably the right result.
Yeah, talk me through the two goals. The first one, I know Jacob scored it, but I hope he said thank you to you, because that was your hard work, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, obviously the way we play, we knew we'd sort of put them under pressure and forced a mistake, and that's what it was. It was never giving up on a lost cause, and obviously managed to get the right side of him, and Jacob was there to tap it in on an empty net sort of thing.
And the second one, your goal, you don't get many moments like that as a striker, do you, where you know you're going to score?
Yeah, it was a bit strange actually. I was, didn't know what to do. I was going to be a little bit cocky, but I thought I better not, just in case. But no, obviously you get your rewards from working hard and putting them under pressure, and that's what it was. Obviously you get your reward from that. Yeah,
both goals were not quite chasing lost causes, but that sort of thing, we're putting defenders under pressure. When you certainly seem second favourite to get the ball.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can never give up a ball where you seem second favourite or favourite to get there. And the same football, you do get your reward eventually, and there's not many times you get them gifts, but when they do come along, obviously they're nice and you accept them. But it wasn't pretty goals, but it didn't matter. We did what we had to do to get ourselves in the lead, but I thought we had one or two other moments where we probably could have got a third towards the the interval, but we went in 2-1 and we was confident we'd win the game, but just unfortunate for us we couldn't see it out.
And the atmosphere at the end of the game, the Norwich fans cheering you off, everybody going round, the feeling of the place has changed so much the last couple of months, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely, and that's down to hard work. We've worked hard, we've worked on the training pitch, and the manager's been been brilliant with his selection and his rotation of the squad. His use of the squad's been a lot better, and I think he's getting a lot more out of certain players when he's given people a breather, and they've come back in and they've obviously repaid the manager's faith in them to go out there and do the business. And we knew Newcastle was going to be a good test for us, and obviously they're a top side and they've had that consistency what we haven't throughout the season. That's why they are where they are, and that's why we are where we are. But nevertheless, it was a good game, and probably a point overall is what both teams probably deserved.
And that rotation policy, it's one that you understand and the players all understand. You're probably not going to start every game.
I don't think you can. You can't play 46 games at the intensity of what football's played at nowadays. And Rafa in there, he probably is one of the masters at that. And if you look at Newcastle, they've got the guy who's the top scorer in the division on the bench. So it goes to show their strength and depth, and it goes to show the rotation policy and how important it is for squads nowadays.
Thanks, Cam. Well done. Cheers. Thank you.